When you start talking about an organization like Osteopathic Heritage Foundation, you talk about osteopathic and you'd have to talk about heritage. When you do that, it's history.
The Osteopathic Heritage Foundation's history is rooted in the commitment and tradition of the osteopathic philosophy of medical care, which began in 1940 when Drs. J.O. Watson, Ralph Licklider, and Harold Clybourne founded Doctors Hospital.
The Osteopathic Heritage Foundation's logo is made up of the pillars on each side of the entrance to the original Doctors Hospital on 1087 Denison Avenue.
The early development of Doctors Hospital provided a solid foundation for the system to grow and expand its impact, including the launch of the General Surgery Residency Program in the fall of 1947. That same year, in a small town south of Columbus, the youngest of 7 was born, Richard Allen Vincent, better known to all of us as Rick. As Doctors Hospital grew and thrived, so did Rick. After serving 4 years as a medic in the United States Air Force, Rick was ready for his next adventure, and that was finding a job. After sending out letters to area hospitals, Rick interviewed with former military nurse Rebecca Morton and was immediately offered a job in the nursing department.
After the interview, she said, she was just so wonderful. You think about this and you call me. So I was driving home and I thought, this is ridiculous. I know I want to work for this woman. So I stopped at the Harrisburg exit. I went to the whatever restaurant was there, and I used a payphone, if you can imagine that. That's how old I am. To call her back, and I said, I want this job. She said, fine, I'll see you January 4th.
After 5 years in the nursing department, Rick was reassigned to administration, where he had exposure to all aspects of hospital operations and the opportunity to meet and work with hospital employees, from physicians and nurses to cafeteria workers and housekeeping.
Put me in a fairly good position to agree to other positions as Sims and the board and one of the founders, especially Dr. J.O. Watson, thought that I could probably handle, and then it just went from there.
After the board appointed Rick president and CEO of the Doctors Hospital system in 1988, he prioritized the expansion of the medical education program, positioning doctors as one of the nation's largest and most respected training sites for osteopathic physicians. In the late 1990s, Rick led the boards through the asset sale of the Doctors Hospital system to Ohio Health.
The sale of Doctors Hospital to Ohio Health was a turning point for Ohio Health, and it was the catalyst for the Osteopathic Heritage Foundation to have a much larger role in this community. And their focus on osteopathic medical education was kind of a beacon for osteopathy for the country.
Under Rick's leadership, over $240 million has been approved to advance the Foundation's mission, impacting community health initiatives in Ohio and advancing osteopathic medical education and research across the country.
They funded education center, so we've got first-class facilities to train osteopathic physicians. They were helpful as we integrated the medical education programs of Ohio Health, including Doctors Hospital, Grant in particular, and now Riverside, and then Dublin. It's our medical education program, and we don't really even think about it in the context of MD versus DO. That's refreshing.
I have felt truly blessed to be in this role at this time. And beyond that, I feel blessed to have the support of the Osteopathic Heritage Foundations. Not only their financial support, but their leadership support, their thought support, and helping me to really see the horizon that we have here for osteopathic medical education, for care delivery, for research. Our big goal is to impact healthcare here in the state of Ohio, particularly primary care.
A significant funding priority for the Foundation is support for endowed research and training chairs at top-ranked colleges of osteopathic medicine in the United States.
We've been fortunate enough to fund major research at other osteopathic colleges in Chicago, in Philadelphia, in Texas, and then seeing the chairs and the research at OU.
It really came into its own when it was just dedicated to the community and medical education, and has surpassed anything I would have dreamed that it would do.
During Rick's tenure, he sustained a family culture among the boards and employees, one of mutual respect, loyalty, and a commitment to mission and purpose.
I have found that There's not a more committed, dedicated board that I've ever been associated with or exposed to. The one thing I've said to Director Vincent, you just feel like you're part of something very, very special.
Over the last 20 years, the foundations have demonstrated a commitment to the founders' vision of advancing osteopathic medicine and improving community health.
I will sometimes ask the board or make a comment at the board, I hope the founders are happy with what we're doing. And typically the response from the older members of the board is they'd be very happy.
I think my father would have said, I always believed that this would happen. He dreamed big, but I'm sure he's smiling.
From your friends and colleagues, thank you for your visionary leadership. The impact of your decades of service and future contributions will live on for generations to come.
I first met Rick Vincent in 1979 or 1980. That began what now is a 37-year relationship that Rick and I have had as fellow board members, as golf buddies, as one of my best friends. Incredible individual, very talented, very loyal and committed.
So what can I say about Rick Vincent? I mean, he introduced me to my wife. He gave me the opportunity in Nelsonville as a 26-year-old hospital executive who worked in Portsmouth, Ohio. He took a chance on me. From that, he taught me many things. He is one of those rare people that you meet in your life. Your father, your grandfather, Rick Vincent.
He's a leader. That's what you have to have in foundations. That's what you have to have in business. If you don't, you won't be successful.
I've also seen an extraordinary leader in Rick Vincent, an extraordinary leader who really lets his people do their work and is very involved, very informed. He's responsible for all this. He made this. There's no better leader than Rick Vincent in my mind.
We wish Rick the best and know that his legacy will live on. We're going to try to live up to what he's established.
We wish you, Karen, and your family the very best, and we will leave you with the last word. Rick, what's your greatest accomplishment during your time with Doctors Hospital?
Number one, I met my wife there, Dr. Karen Vincent. That's probably the number one accomplishment.